This episode of Film Riot is brought to you by Video Blocks. Welcome to Film Riot Mondays, the day that I answer questions and or show results to things. This is one of those days where I'm answering questions, so let's answer some. Well, I always answer questions, so saying that this is just one of those days where I answer questions is kind of misleading. Sorry I lied to you. Hey Riot Guy, what is the hardest part about filming and or producing Film Riot and Film State, etc.? The hardest part is time, just getting everything done. Sometimes there will be an episode that I wish we had, 2 more days on to try to refine and make really, really great, but alas, we do not. So the hardest part is definitely time and manpower. We're still a very, just extremely small company, actually, so it gets hard to tackle everything at once, but we love the crap out of it, so when we have to not sleep to get stuff done, we're perfectly happy to do so, so no complaints. What is the weakest link in the chain from planning to shooting to production? What's the part that people overemphasize, and what's the part that all too often gets ignored? That's a really hard question to answer because it really does vary on the type of person and the type of film. I mean, the weakest link would obviously be the director. If the director doesn't have his stuff together, then that movie is absolutely just going to be a complete and total train wreck. What is overemphasized often in short films or, low budget newbie sorts of films is either an emphasis on visual effects when there absolutely shouldn't be, because obviously the production is not at the level to make the visual effects work and they usually come off cheesy and ruin the film, or an overemphasis on some kind of heavy-handed thematic element that is just far too soapboxy and usually comes off feeling a little underdeveloped. Like outside of film school, everybody has the short film that they have to do where the one character is in the subconscious of the main character. I'm embarrassed to say it that I did it too. And it's just, I don't know, maybe you just gotta get it out off your chest, you just gotta get that out there. So you're like, okay, I'm done with that nonsense, and you could go on. A great story and a great theme isn't shoved in your face. It more asks a question or presents a problem or an idea and lets the audience do the rest. So those are probably things that are emphasized too much. What gets all but ignored is probably, like I said, the idea of pacing. Sometimes people think that this is such an art form that they can't focus it on, how a big budget Hollywood blockbuster is done, but it really is by the numbers in a lot of ways, even when it is art. If you look at any film that you think is art, you can break that thing down into the 3-act structure. You can break down exactly what the filmmaker does. There is a structure to it. Painting is artwork, but there's still certain colors that they use for certain reasons. Buildings are beautiful, but the architecture had a plan for it. So make sure you're planning and you know the pacing of, and remember, the first and foremost thing is to entertain your audience. After that, then underline it with all the goodies. What are your thoughts about the Zoom H4n? I absolutely love my Zoom. I've had it for a few years. We use it often. We always use it for any kind of voiceover work or anything like that. Any of the song recordings that we do go right through the H4. Any kind of character voices that I end up doing that aren't a direct, shot like this is on the H4, or any sync audio, obviously. Anytime we shoot with the Red, or we just shot with the GoPro and I use the H4, I absolutely love it. It's 100,000% worth the money. It is a great, great recorder. Yo, what is the easiest way to keep video noise to a minimum in camera? Thanks, Bojangles. More light. The cheaper the camera is, the more susceptible it is to video noise, so you're gonna just wanna flood that thing with light so you can get the ISO as low as possible. The higher the ISO, the more noise you're gonna get. But the other thing, a lot of people are always asking me, my ISO is so low, how am I still getting noise? That's probably from your lens. If you have a really cheap lens, you might have a noisy image as well. I have this wide angle lens that's kind of cheap, and I don't use it because when I do, the image gets very gross. So it could also be the lens, so do some tests there, but the main way is to add tons more light. I mean, even adding tons more light is gonna clean up your image, even if it is the lens. So try to steer clear of low light situations, pump as much light as possible into the camera, and then adjust your settings to make the room look darker than it actually is, which is what I always do anyway. So brighten the freak out of the room, and then just drop your iris, drop your ISO, drop your shutter to compensate. VideoBlocks offers stock video, motion backgrounds, production music, sound effects, and After Effects templates. They have over 100,000 clips and are constantly adding new content every month, including stuff like explosions, slow motion effects, Earth-type videos, air and space stuff for your sci-fi short films, and so on. One of my favorite clips that I have found was a slow-mo explosion. All you gotta do is drop this bad boy in, add a blending mode, and boom, you have yourself a sweet slow-mo explosion for your film. Plus, they have great audio. You guys are always asking me where to find some good music and sound effects. Well, here you go. Their regular price is $948 annually, but the current promotion is $178. Plus, VideoBlocks is offering FilmRiot viewers an 83% discount of only $160 annually. No promo code needed. So all you gotta do is check out videoblocks.com/FilmRiot to learn more.
Logo.
So that's it for this Monday. We've come to a close. A close has come. We've already seen a ton of submissions for the next challenge, which we are quite excited about. Really good submissions as always. I feel like I'm always saying this, but it's always true. I don't know if I'm just trying to encourage you or I'm just saying what I really mean because, you know, I love you with my heart, with my heart. But now it's time for my short film suggestion of the week. Did you hear that? This super sweet S whistle? Like the gopher from Winnie the Pooh. This one's called Voiceover. It is a great short film. It actually started as a Kickstarter. They got their funding and thus made this short film. And this thing really does look visually like a feature at times. Some of the visual effects aren't, you know, the best ever, but I really love the idea. I love me some sci-fi, and it is well done throughout. English subtitles. This is not an English-speaking film, but that should not deter you because this is a fantastic short film, which you can watch on Vimeo.
There we go.
You know, somebody told me on YouTube, they were like, you know, think about video. And I was like, why didn't anybody say that before? No, I'll never forget, but I'll forget next week for sure. And I'll say it the other way. I can't even think of the way that I usually say it. Anyway, check out the short film, and we'll see you guys next week when we have the winners to the Monday Challenge. Remember, February 22nd, not much time left. Get your work on.